Ο κενός ευλεγέτο επιθυμία της άντρησης.
The void burned with a longing for friction.
Η πρωτογενής σιγή εσχίσθη υπό του βάρους της κατεψυγμένης τάξεως.
The primordial silence cracked under the weight of frozen order.
Άντινο ανάγκη έριξε το παλμό ενέ καρδία του σκότος.
A crimson necessity began to pulse in the heart of darkness. Before the first drop of blood fell upon the earth, the cosmos was trapped in the tedious confinement of flawless order, a world where no heart trembled with excitement and no will was ever challenged. This absolute stillness was a wound upon the body of existence, one that could only be healed by the emergence of a monumental contradiction. Hera, the queen of the heavens, in her dazzling seclusion, felt a pain unlike any ordinary birth pang. She sought a force that would align neither with Zeus's cold prudence nor with Athena's patient wisdom. She sought the seed of a rebellion. In the deepest layers of Hera's will, a cosmic necessity formed to bring forth a being who would trade stillness for fire. At the moment of his birth, the balance of the stars shattered and galaxies paused their motion for an instant. He entered the realm of existence not with a cry, but with a brazen roar that coursed through his veins. From his very first breath, nearby atoms trembled, and the sharp scent of molten iron permeated the pure air of Olympus. Prophecies heralded the birth of a deity who would become the anchor of all fears and audacities of the cosmos, a being through whom Zeus glimpsed a mirror of his hidden rage, planting the seed of eternal hatred in the father's heart from that very moment. A terrifying question cast its shadow over the halls of Olympus. Would this infant be the guardian of the gods' glory or the architect of their destruction? To find his place, he fled the crystalline halls of the heavens and sought refuge in the wild plains of Thrace, where winds smell of death and cliffs are made of will. In that harsh solitude, he ran with wolves and dined with storms to temper his divinity in the crucible of friction. He became the god of battle, but not the battle mapped in command chambers with paper plans. He was the god of the racing heartbeat at the brink of collision. He attained an absolute rank in which every scream on the battlefield was, in truth, a prayer to him. His authority expanded so profoundly that physical reality itself shifted in his presence. The air thickened and time paused in reverence at the moment of sword strikes. His cosmic peak was reached when he realized that all civilizations, arts, and even laws suffocated in the womb without his driving force. He was creative destruction. In this era, no leaf fell from a tree without containing the struggle of forces within it. He became the polar opposite of all gods, a being whose necessity of existence surpassed even his reviled nature. Yet this bloody majesty confronted him with the greatest challenge of his life, the battle with prudence. On the fields of Troy, he fought not armies, but the concept of the wisdom of war. When a mortal spear, guided by an eternal rival, pierced the side of this deity, for the first time in ancient history, the gods witnessed the tremor of a vulnerable god. This pain was not physical, it was the collapse of the illusion that pure wrath could rule the world. This wound brought him to a point of no return. He, who had until then been defined solely by destruction, suddenly confronted the sheer emptiness of unbridled power. He plunged into the dark depths of his own soul. In this new solitude, he made a decision that transformed the entire history of human and divine law. When he shed the blood of a trespasser to defend his child's honor, the gods summoned him to a court that had never before existed. On the hill of Areopagus, the god of war stood as the accused. For the first time, power bowed before law. His answers in court raised even deeper questions. If war itself is the lawmaker, who can enforce justice? After the trial, his era of transfiguration began. He was no longer the delirious warrior who roared only to spill blood. He transformed into the defensive force of existence. His majesty moved from physical battlefields to the inner realms of humanity. He realized that true endurance lay not in killing, but in the will to protect. His influence on the cosmos became subtler and yet more formidable. He became a spark that shone in the eyes of every oppressed being before they rose in rebellion. This transformation marked the dawn of a new age in which he was recognized not as a pariah, but as a necessary evil. Ultimately, his presence in the cosmos reached a stable equilibrium. He is not dead and will never die, for he is embedded in the structure of atoms, in the pull of stars, and in the survival instincts of all creatures. With his existence, the world lost absolute and stagnant peace, but in return gained dynamism and evolution. His legacy is the tremor felt before every great change. He reminded us that truth is born only in the battlefield between what we are and what we must become. He is the sacred wrath that prevents the world from sinking into the mire of stillness. He is the architect of the wounds through which the light of consciousness pierces the darkness.